Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. We're going to be talking about a story that has been snowballing over recent days, and that is Mauricio Pochettino being the next permanent manager of Manchester United. It's a story, like I say, that has been gaining more and more momentum in recent days. We're going to be talking more about this story, the possibility of it, what my personal thoughts are, and what I think may happen with this entire Manchester United saga going forward. But before we go any further, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things are always and would be greatly appreciated. But for now, let's get into this story. Like I say, Pochettino to United is a story that's been gaining more and more momentum by the day. We knew that obviously Pochettino's name was linked with being the next permanent manager of Manchester United for some time now. But the story has really started to snowball in recent days due to the fact that it has emerged that PSG are said to be done with Pochettino come the end of the season. Regardless of what Pochettino achieves with PSG this season, he can even win them their first Champions League in their history, and they are said to be completely done with him because the overall consensus and the overall feeling is that Pochettino will be forced to step aside at the end of this campaign, and for the French club, Zinedine Zidane is said to be waiting in the wings to be taking over. And, you know, it kind of makes sense. An attacking manager, a manager who is a French legend in the world of football, a serial Champions League winner as well. That kind of makes sense, and it seems like PSG have a plan in mind. Now, that is obviously not confirmed yet, and that's not official, but that seems to be what everybody seems to be thinking will happen come the end of the campaign. But as for Pochettino and Manchester United, well, that has opened the door for a return for Poch to the Premier League, and it could be very well with Manchester United, who are of course currently under the interim manager Ralf Rangnick. He is said to be moving to a more advisory role, a more behind the scenes role at the end of the season, and that is where Pochettino could fit in because he could be Rangnick's successor. Now, personally, if this was between the years of 2017 and 2019, I would say that this would be a very good move for Manchester United. I remember during that particular period of time, Pochettino was heavily linked with taking the United job originally back then. He was obviously at Spurs at the time, and he turned Spurs into a consistent top four side, took them to the latter stages of domestic cups, even took them to a Champions League final in what was seen obviously as a big job and a big journey for the club and for him at the time. They didn't win anything. They didn't win anything in terms of silverware when perhaps they probably should have. But the football was very nice. The football was very entertaining. And despite him having very little at his disposal in terms of a lot of financial gain that maybe some of the other teams around him had at that time, and in terms of quality, he made the most out of what he had. And overall, you probably could say that he did overachieve, despite, like I say, not officially winning anything in terms of silverware. But fast forward to, of course, 2022 to the present day, a lot has happened since he had left Spurs. His final days as Spurs manager went stale and therefore kind of fell apart completely. He then took the role as PSG manager. He missed out on several trophies in his short stay already with the French club, including last season's French League title. They are currently 15 points clear at the top of the table this season and are seemingly ready to reclaim their French championship status. But to say that obviously the club had major arrivals and major acquisitions made last summer in terms of their transfer window dealings, including of course a certain Lionel Messi, the squad's not been entirely convincing. And not only that, but there have also been a number of reports that have come out over the course of the season that have suggested there's been a lot of division, there's been a lot of unrest within and amongst the PSG squad that they're not entirely convinced, but with Pochettino, and they think it is ready for a change. It's not surprising though. It's not surprising that, you know, Pochettino's felt this way, the PSG players felt this way, and that Manchester United feel this way. All the parties involved in this feel this way about each other and about what may happen somewhere down the line. United have been running like a club that's completely behind the times for a while, even after Sir Alex Ferguson left, of course. I'd honestly call them something like Internet Explorer FC or Internet Explorer United, whichever one feels better or whichever one sounds better. Managerial appointments that are outdated, players transfers that are either outdated themselves or overrated or just haven't worked out in the slightest. And the club are just looking at ways to continue to build and maintain their social media presence and their overall global fan base and all of their influences over off the pitch issues, rather than what's going on the pitch and winning silverware and things like that. It's been well documented over how badly this football club has been run for a number of years now. I feel like Pochettino coming in could be another example of a managerial appointment made by non-footballing people, just reading off certain positive reports of a previous past time at a different club with different challenges and different scenarios. I just don't really see it working out, because this should have been a move that probably should have happened years ago, regardless of obviously what's happened since then with Solskjaer and maybe even Van Gaal to an extent. I feel like this should have happened time ago. The boat has seemingly sailed on that. The interesting layer to this story, in my opinion, is that this appears to not be the preferred choice of Ralf Rangnick. I mentioned earlier that he is, of course, the situation at Manchester United, that Rangnick is the current interim manager. He is said to be moving on to a more advisory behind-the-scenes role come the end of the season. And if reports are to be believed, then Rangnick has a preferred choice of a certain Erik ten Hag to take over rather than Mauricio Pochettino. Are we already seeing a case here of the United hierarchy and powerful members of the board and the club not listening to the man that they've brought in to oversee these kind of things, help try and rebuild their club from the inside? Is this a case of that? Is this a case of already that they're not listening to him? Is this a case that they're already going over his head on this particular part of the club and this particular aspect of the club? Because to me, if the reports are genuine, if the reports are legitimate and this is genuine, this is mad. Why would you not listen to the guy that you've brought in specifically for these kind of choices, these kind of decisions to be made from your club to help rebuild your club, to make it better again and make it sort of go back to an era where they were successful? I just don't get why you would not listen to this guy. These kind of decisions, along with transfers like that, seem to be what Rangnick was drafted in for. Transfers, decisions on and off the pitch, the coaching staff, everything that this club has stood for and done for the past several years is what Rangnick is set to come in and change and make this club better. And if he's not the preferred choice, then why are you not listening to the guy that you brought in for these kind of decisions? I just don't get it. What would be the point in going against him? I don't know. The real question is, who really is in charge of Manchester United? The manager? Arguably not, if the reports are to be believed. The board? Probably. The owners? Probably. Who is it? To me, and obviously I'm looking at this from the outside looking in, if I was to put more of a neutral football hat on rather than my slightly biased, I'd say, rival fans' perspective, Ten Hag would be a forward-thinking appointment. Ten Hag would be someone who, for the long term, would be a great successor for Manchester United, and I think that he would actually do well, and I think that he would probably flourish and do even better when the likes of Jurgen Klopp, Thomas Tuchel and Pep Guardiola maybe gone from their current clubs, and maybe for the long-term success, United will have a forward-thinking manager, someone for the present that can build it up, and then for the future he can start winning things again. And I think he would be a good example and a good managerial appointment at that. For Pochettino, I reckon that would be a case of rinse and repeat for United. I reckon that since Alex Ferguson left, they've gone through good spells, they've gone through bad spells, and they've gone through ugly spells. And I reckon that will be more of the same type of yo-yoing performances under Pochettino that will come with his appointment. We've become accustomed to seeing that over the years with United. I don't see that changing under Pochettino. I reckon it could get better under Ten Hag more than Pochettino, but is what it is, I guess. And I think, as we've seen at PSG, he's proven at PSG that he's struggling to handle that kind of pressure. We've seen at PSG that, if the reports are to be believed, then he's struggling to handle the giant egos and the players that are within that PSG squad. And he's kept this tagline as being a bit of a bottler over the years. And in the big moments, in the big games, he's seemingly bottled it. He's seemingly not managed to achieve what was set out before him to achieve in them kind of big games. And overall, I just think coming into a club, a more toxic club in my opinion from the outside looking in, like Manchester United, I don't think that will necessarily change for him, and I think that surely it won't be much better for either party here, and it won't necessarily work out, at least not in my opinion anyway. And therefore, when I do look at this as a rival fan, from my perspective as a Liverpool fan, I'm saying go for it. I'm saying go for Pochettino. Ignore Rangnick's suggestion of going for a Ten Hag and go for a Pochettino. Pochettino will, in my opinion, continue this mediocre slump that Manchester United are in right now, in which, yes, they'll challenge for top four. A domestic cup will seem likely every single season, but nothing more will come of that. He'll get them playing nice football again. But I think that this appointment should have been made years ago, when they had more of an opportunity to be successful than what it is of today, the here, the now, the present. Again, I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion, because let's face it, these are all just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of this news that Mauricio Pochettino could potentially be the Manchester United manager for the start of next season? What do you make of him being the successor to Ralf Rangnick? Do you think someone else should take over, like an Erik Ten Hag? Or maybe there's someone else that I haven't talked about in this video that you think would be a better fit for Manchester United? And what do you make of the reports that maybe Manchester United are going over Ralf Rangnick's head on his preferred choice himself on this matter? I'd love to know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call it, down below in the comment section on this. I'm sure it'll all make for interesting reading. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see you all again soon in another video.